Welcome to today's episode where we delve into the fascinating and complex life of Ed Hall Crump Jr., a man whose influence and legacy left an indelible mark on American politics. Born into the world of power and ambition, Crump Jr. was more than just a politician. He was a master strategist, a behind-the-scenes powerhouse, and a key figure in shaping the political landscape of his time. His connections ran deep, his actions often controversial, and his ability to navigate the intricate web of power is a story of both triumph and challenge. In this episode, we'll explore Crump Jr.'s rise to prominence, his relationship with political titans, and the lasting impact he had on the course of history. Whether you're a history buff or just discovering his name, you won't want to miss the remarkable story of Ed Hall Crump Jr., a man whose legacy still echoes today.
All right, fuck it, we'll do it live. Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Doing it live.
Fuck it. Fuck it. Tonight on Stumbling Down History Road, we're going to be talking about Edward Hall Crump Jr., Boss Crump. It's Crump, I think. Crump? Chris Kringle? Fuck him. He is like a Tennessee dictator-esque type thing on Dick December. I'm Jackson. We got Jeff. We got a special guest.
We got our call in.
What's happening, guys?
You want to hear the rest of our call in? He's on going to be in the episode.
Yep.
Anyway, so Crump, is it Crump or Crump?
Crump.
Crump?
It's Edward H. Crump Jr. He's actually a junior.
Yep. Interesting.
Once he became kind of his more political influence area, he got the nickname Boss, and they called him Boss Crump.
Yeah. Boss.
So,
All right, that's an old in joke
so
from.
basically, Boss Crump, he got political control over both Memphis and East Tennessee, and he used a lot of this through corruption. And do you guys know what poll taxing was?
Yes. So after
Poll taxing?
yeah.
Okay, what?
So basically, it was a way to how do I phrase this and not get deep?
Basically, Jackson, is if you couldn't pay, you couldn't vote.
Yeah.
In layman terms, what it came down when you went to your local sometimes your local voting precinct couldn't open up because they couldn't pay their poll taxes. So that's what. See, they did that when African Americans got slavery abolished, and they became voting.
Okay.
Yeah, the male voters.
The Jim Crow shit.
It turned. No, this is way before Jim Crow. But they were turning the tide of the Democrat-controlled South. The South was predominantly controlled by Democrats. And this has no way, and I'll say this, this has no modern day, even though I'd like to say there are modern day correlations from this story you can kind of see, especially this dude's like Dick Cheney, like how he did his business.
Is Dick Cheney still alive, or did he pass away?
I think he's still alive.
He's still alive.
I know Christian Bale did that movie about him where he played Dick Cheney.
Yep.
And he put on 100 pounds for that role or some shit.
Yep. And he also got to puppet George Bush.
Just play that man like a puppet.
Oops, too real?
A little too real.
It's all right.
Whatever. He was just light on the back.
But yeah, he did a lot of he was running on the platform of abolishing poll tax for African Americans for a lot of it in order to try and win their vote, and he never really did.
Yeah. Yep. That's the typical politician thing is they every single one of them, it's not really discriminatory, but a lot of them say a lot of stuff and never. But this guy, he was actually born in Holly Springs, Mississippi on October the 2nd of 1874.
What's up?
I was trying to say, so you did a bait and switch there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You bait and switched. Neat.
Like any politician.
It was like he was going to allow the black population to vote, but you were voting for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He set it up that way.
But he started with finances, if I remember right. Like he didn't start off as like a lawyer or anything like that. He started with this financing, right? The finance guy.
So money.
So his father was a Confederate officer in the war. During that time, he became a plantation owner, a plantation planter, which was basically you seeded slaves into plantations. You were the one that divvied out the goods, so to speak.
Now we're talking senior, right? Did this?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So once the Civil War ends, slavery is abolished. Like a lot of people who were in those businesses, well deserved, they lost their asses, so to speak, because all of a sudden they're, all their revenue that was,
Right.
Yeah.
It's also like once an entire industry shuts down, people tend to lose their jobs.
Well, it was an entire industry that had a free workforce. You fed your workers the scraps of what you cooked. You put them in. There was no upkeep.
So like modern day CEOs.
Just imagine if you built a house and you didn't have to pay for the labor. You know what I'm saying? How cheap that would be. But yeah, so that's where they line their pockets a lot. And with that happening, they're like, oh, the Confederacy's going to win. They were like, oh yeah, we're going to, they got stomped and they lost their britches, as we would say. They lost everything in their britches. So he dies of yellow fever, the father. He ends up dying of yellow fever.
He was that horny?
Yeah, he found an Asian chick?
That's what's ironic and funny is the guy was like a racist and he dies of like a thing.
He died of cemented poon.
He died of yellow fever. So his mom basically like packs up the stuff and goes with some of her family. Edward Crump, he drops out of school. He starts finding odd jobs, and in between those odd jobs, he takes a bookkeeping class, which comes in handy later. When he becomes 18, he moves to Memphis. Not even a job prospect or nothing. Like, dude just goes up there, just like,
Yeah, he just takes a 40-mile trip. Casual stuff. Casual Friday.
Right. Like, but he goes by train. He actually arrived by
there was
train.
no cars or nothing, right?
Yeah.
This was 1800 still, so it's like
it was like 18.
This is a month-long trip.
Let me see. 1893, I believe, is when it was when he left. He finally left for Tennessee.
That's like first year. Whatever.
In this little bit of time, he becomes like one of the most powerful people in Memphis for like 4 years in a short amount of time. So he takes, this is ironic too, he takes a job at Walter Goodman Cotton Company. And he becomes, he becomes a head bookkeeper.
I thought you were going to say the head cotton picker for a second. I was going to be like, motherfucker, that's irony.
So it gets even more like, it's kind of irony like everywhere he goes. So the next place he goes, he
starts getting involved in like social clubs and stuff like this too, right?
Chickasaw Manufacturing Company.
Just as long as it's not that social.
The Wood Chickasaw, which Chickasaw is a type of Native American tribe.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, all these are like front main properties in Memphis, and so there he becomes their head treasurer.
Sorry.
After that, he becomes the head treasurer of the Chickasaw Manufacturing Company.
So he goes from like basically like being the guy who's in charge of like getting the slaves.
No, his dad was.
Okay, his dad was
giving the slaves the correct thing to seed and whatnot. He goes to school kind of and learns how to do bookkeeping. He goes to Memphis, to be a bookkeeper. He goes to Memphis, becomes a head bookkeeper at the Chickasaw Cotton Company. Then he ends up getting involved in like social clubs, social elites. He finds his wife. he works for a saddle company, if I remember right.
Jesus Christ.
And
Yeah.
he ends up buying that with a loan from his father-in-law because he
Yes.
undervalued.
Yes.
And
As
then
he goes out, he starts
then-
going to gentlemen clubs and getting
Yeah.
involved in social organization, and then he finds his wife, which
Yep.
is that she's of a very affluent. She's like, her family is lined to the gills with money.
Yeah.
Like
And
they
then-
come from
Marrying a
old
rich
money.
bitch.
Yep.
Nothing like marrying a rich bitch. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Also, if you want me to pronounce that, write it in English.
But the thing is she was actually not just for her money, but like apparently like she was a very good looking lady. Like she had a lot of callers, so to speak.
She was.
Oh, she had
hoe.
Yeah, and it was.
She was a bit of a hoe. We can say it.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a hoe.
I mean, when a bunch of guys are offering to take you out on dinners, I mean,
I don't know if you got the Boondocks reference.
He might have got it.
yeah, I pit name sit back and all that stuff. Gotcha.
You got to do the whole damn thing. It's like a Tribe Called Quest.
I'll guide you to the right path. Yeah, whatever.
He's got his little live stream nonsense going on.
Yeah.
If you need me to say that in Arabic, I will. I could say Allahu Akbar.
Allah Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum.
Power to the people, my brother.
That means peace be upon you.
Power to the people, my brother.
That's when you add it to the Black Power thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So he buys this stable company off of Daddy's bucks.
So wait, is it a stable company or is it a you said it was like
it's
saddle
either a
company.
stable or a saddle. I know it involves horses.
So
Yeah,
that's still going to be good money for the next 20, 30 years at least. You know, until a certain great ward makes them kind of irrelevant.
Well, what they would do in that company is they would have a mayor or a prominent male, and they would have that, and they would house your horse and stable your horse, and they would have like professional people training them.
Oh, so it's like
Russian-
a breeding company. Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and then you would have a
There's big money
selection
in
of
horse
it, and they would profit, right? They would straight profit from the big, yeah.
It is crazy how much money goes into horse semen.
Golly, dude, you would
Thanks,
not
Glock.
seriously.
Right? Yeah. The guy who invented Glock handguns is also one of the most prolific horse breeders of all time.
Right?
Like was the guy is like shooting things into other things?
Yep. Thanks, that one guy.
But the funny thing about Crump, and like everybody that knew him kind of knew, he was a terrible social speaker. Like he would not make a good car salesman. Like so basically what he did, and if I can compare it to anything, is like it's like some Sopranos mafioso type working where, you know, it's like it'd be a shame, you know, you got a good business over here, you know, and then going out and saying, oh, I'm gonna, like he said, I'm gonna change this and change that. So he becomes mayor of Memphis for 4 years.
He was walking
This
to
is the-
Memphis.
This is like, I think it was like six years after he got into Memphis, he became the mayor of Memphis.
God
So-
damn, that's a pretty quick turnaround. That's impressive.
I see here that he was mayor of Memphis
Multiple times.
from 1910 to 1915.
Okay.
So he
That's
got
about
to
5 years.
yeah. Well, he got to Memphis in '93. So
About 50. Yeah, it's about 50. So 1900 when he became that's when he got his teeth into everything, when he became the secretary treasurer for the
well,
Chickasaw.
he was a delegate to the Tennessee's Democratic State Convention in
Yep.
02 and 04. In 05, he worked his way up to the municipal board. And then he started doing stuff for like the fire and police department in 07.
So he
See,
was
'cause
like
that's-
a typical local bureaucrat guy.
That's the thing that's why I compare him to Dick Cheney, is because even though he was in the limelight in the beginning as being the mayor and all that, he stepped back and he went to like treasurer or, you know, this, that, where he could sit back in the background. And, you know, the real person with power is the person that influences the person with power.
Yeah.
Like Jafar from fucking Aladdin, like dude, like snake in the ear. That's basically what he did.
Yeah, Jafar kind of.
He had it bad for a 16-year-old. Don't give him any credit.
I was gonna
Well,
say
this Crump guy,
Jafar, like he had like a pretty decent, like I don't know why he was like. I understand wanting the genie power to be like usually have magic, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you're already like basically shadow government. Just shut the fuck up and just kind of be the guy in the background.
right? And see, that's what Crump kind of understood.
Like
if Crump didn't step into the limelight, he could sit there and work the puppet strings from the back. So that enters into his expansion to East Tennessee. And what he would do is he would rig local elections, because we all know sheriffs and stuff like that, judges, they're all appointed. They're not hired. They're the people vote for them.
it is all fair too. Everybody knows every election is totally fair.
Right? Yeah.
There's never been one unfair election.
If there was a sarcasm meter, it'd be blowing off.
I have seen the voter turnout of North Korea. Okay, you can't tell me that that's not a fair and valid election.
Right. 180% goes like what? The math doesn't work, bro. But he starts going out, and that enters the Cantrell guy. This guy Cantrell. He is the sheriff of this place, McMinn County, Athens, Tennessee. And we're sped up quite a while from where Crump entered the political scenes, and he has sunk his roots in. He's got individuals that I put you in this position, you follow my directive. I put you in that position, you follow my directive.
Yeah, cronies. Everybody's got cronies.
Exactly. So, you know, he lined people's pockets to listen to him. A funny thing about Crump is Memphis actually holds him in high regard, I think, still.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because he legit, this is if
So
like how like they say like somebody fucked up, like invented the microphone. They've had like Crump genuinely cleaned up Memphis, and it was the top place to live in the United States during his reign. And then he had one of the best fire departments and police stations, police departments in the country. Yes.
Well, you know what they say: the train ran on time in Germany.
Crump was obsessed with. He was like OCD about cleaning. He was a clean freak. He was a known clean freak. So he implemented these very heavy ordinances that for noise and like garbage and stuff like that, littering. And you would get a harsh punishment if you were found, you know, of these. So it became like this. I'm using parentheses, utopia, where everything was good, but like you were under somebody's thumb, regardless. So
there was like people on people on people.
It's like you take a freedom away, but you gain a lot of air quotes safety and better quality of living. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, there is no war in Ba Sing Se.
Yeah, it's a real difficult. That's where it's like
trains ran on time in Germany.
When you look at it, you're like, yeah, everybody was living good and everything was nice and clean, but at what double-edged sword cost type deal, you know?
Yeah.
What I just said a few seconds ago.
Yeah, I would. I'd give up some personal rights to ensure some safety. I love not being able to say certain things.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of on the different scale of that. But we all have our opinions. You know what I mean? Like
sarcasm.
Because like there's a quote from a real great YouTuber on here, and he says, "My rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it." And this coincides with what happens in Athens, Tennessee, like really, really a lot. So
See, I prefer.
So George, I need you to understand that I did a very big sarcasm.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I am not a.
I don't know if you're watching our cameras because, yeah.
I'm watching. I see you.
I definitely am not a.
See,
I'm not
I
a
don't care what
government
anybody
guy.
is.
See, my
I'm
thought
not a
is
big government guy.
your freedom of speech ends about where my fist begins.
There you go. That's how it should be settled. If you don't, you should be able to just.
Your freedom of speech ends about where my fist begins.
See, I don't know about that. Like,
What's the words? Because this is like this whole story is fuck around and find out.
This
This
is
is really
this is
what-
definitely fuck around and find out for this guy.
This is the ultimate fuck around and find out story. Like,
I don't know about the
So-
ultimate.
I've heard some other fuck around find out stories that are pretty.
Oh
ultimate.
yeah. There's some great fuck around find out stories.
That guy with the elephants in the Alps, not the Alps.
there you go. Fuck around and find out February.
That's actually not bad.
There you go.
I was talking about when they discovered for the second time LSD.
Oh right.
Oh, geez.
Huh. What happened with that? Oh, it was weird. Want to try some more?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Bicycle day. Bicycle
Bicycle
day.
So Crump ends up
Getting
placing
some
his
more of that's
people
on
in
my
power, and the big bread and butter for him were Greyhound buses. They would have the local sheriff department stop Greyhound buses, and everybody on the bus, whether they were drinking or not, or even there was any. This is during Prohibition. That was
Right.
another thing. On he was against Prohibition, but he wasn't against Prohibition. He liked the fact
how
that
could he not?
yeah, he liked the fact that he controlled all the liquor in like Tennessee. Basically, he did for a while the bootlegging. He sanctioned a lot of.
Oh, he had that Mountain Dew. He had that Mountain Dew.
that Mountain
It
Dew.
was like that one Fed guy who just he'd go anywhere and just instantly find the booze. Like he goes into the fucking taxi. He's like, "Hey, do you know where to get a drink?" The guy's like, gives him a flask. Like, "Oh, here you go,
Yeah.
motherfucker. What? You know where to get a drink around here? Yeah, right here. Have a flask."
Ballad of Thunder Road. And there was thunder in
the hill.
As this is happening, the World War II shit breaks out. We join the fight.
Wait,
You
was
would
it
think
World War One?
World War II.
Okay.
He was like 80, dude.
Right. I'm sorry. We're rolling on the timeline here.
Yeah.
We're rolling that timeline.
Yeah, we skipped over World War One. World War One, he just kind of like
Yeah, he wasn't really. Yeah, there was
60 by
not
World War
much.
One. Maybe 40s.
no, he wouldn't have been 60. He was
See, he died in the 60s. He just died in I think 69 to be honest.
Nice.
Yeah, I think. Hold on, let me look.
54.
54. Okay, I thought he died in the 60s.
Nope. He died in his 80s.
Yeah. Okay. So
But he was a congressman, a member of the House of Representatives for
Yep.
Tennessee from 31 to 35.
God damn.
He held every kind of political office except for like the judicial branch, and like not the
Like not the big.
He got in both the Congress and the state,
The House.
yeah, the House and the
He was also governor for a little bit.
Governor.
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 And he also was like, you know what? I don't want to run. Somebody take my spot.
Governor.
So like that that's a big thing about him is he goes in and this guy's like die hard mission undercover, figures out, and then he sends his cronies in to take his spot, and then he goes into like a laid back position and just pulls the puppet strings and shit.
Yeah, he's had a few people elected, and with the promise that in the meantime, while he's doing this because he can't hold two different positions of office, Crump will sit as acting power.
Yep.
Like that.
So
like,
he's basically holding a lot. He's controlling because all these people they're under him.
It's okay. Take a dog break.
using his political influence a lot, like saying he's deep-seated a lot of people in the different counties and different areas, but it was mainly in Memphis and East Tennessee. So
now, like, the thing what happens is like a bunch of veterans come back from World War II and like get real pissed off at him with memories. So
you got a little. See, it's kind of foreshadowing. Like you know what
we're getting there.
We'll get there. We'll get to that.
Get there when we get there.
Okay. What does the parappa the rapper have to do with the autistic child raping his mother?
We will get there when we get there.
Shout out to our last episodes.
Oh god, that definitely was an episode.
Anyway, so like he's doing like all this fucking government shit in the background, making cronies in there or whatever. Like, so how does he like take over this town or whatever the fuck he did that like
okay. So one of his cronies is the acting sheriff.
Right.
And like I said, they're going out and they're taxing people in a sense by handing out citations for it was because there was like it was almost like 3 or 4 decades that this kind of went on. But what's funny is you think when all the guys left to go fight like communism, tyranny, and Nazis and freedom, that they would like chill out, but that's actually when he was like switched the throttle up to full power. He went from turtle to rabbit, like, so he started taking advantage.
And a little bit of vacuum of power there.
So a note here, in McMinn County alone in Tennessee was 2,000 men that volunteered willingly for service.
God damn, that's impressive.
That's why we're called the volunteer. That's why we're called the volunteer state, because we've always we have a high volunteer rate for military stuff, whatever.
Because they understand that they want out of Tennessee.
No, it's because, dude, you've got these bunch of corn-fed. They're all Marines, man. Like, I'm going to tell you, not one of these McMinn were a code breaker or they were a grunt. These guys were grunts, dude.
Yeah,
they want to get the hell out of the state.
They eat crayons.
No, that they didn't want to get out of the state, man. These were people who were very patriotic, you know what I'm saying, who would die for their country. These are like diehard America fans. These are America simps, so to speak. Like olden day boys. Good old boys, but we'll get to that here in a second.
Chomp them crayons.
So one soldier who's in charge of a lot of training, he comes back for the funeral of his grandfather's death. And if y'all are aware of World War II and their rationing system, when he went to go get gas,
so
go ahead.
So I found out that Crayola was founded in 1903. So
you found that out?
Yeah, so they definitely had crayons back then. I understand how the Marines got
They were eating them.
Oh, yeah, they were not hungry boys.
It's hilarious because we know a couple of them, and we purposely have given them crayons multiple times. They never get the joke.
No, they get it. I'm a Navy vet.
Hey,
I'm kind of allowed to say shit about my little brother.
My grandfather was in the Navy.
I'm kind of allowed to say a little bit of shit about my little brother.
There you go. Well, any big brother has the right to talk shit about their little brother. Thick skin, brother.
I'm the old one, by the way.
Oh, you're the old one?
Yeah,
well, come back with it. Hit him with the saw.
Well, I was talking about the little brother in terms of Marines versus Navy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Navy spawned the Marines. Technically. And
whatever. Nice sidetrack.
We stumble. That's what we do.
Wait, maybe not today.
Yeah, a little bit.
Good sidetrack.
Anyway. So he takes over the town with the sheriff or whatever, and he's like running shit, charging people out the ass to just live and be or whatever nonsense.
No, he's not charging them to live. He's stopping them. They basically entrapment. They would sit outside bars. They would stop but they're like I said, their bread and butter were because, like you said earlier, when you go travel anywhere in the U.S., you're probably going to pass through Tennessee at one point, especially back then when it was a main travel hub.
Yep, Route 66, along with other shit.
You would just pull these unsuspecting travelers on, hop on the bus. There'd probably be like at least 20 people on a bus on a good day, and you give them a $16.50 fine, which they were basically like, you pay it on the spot or go to jail. And for hindsight, like $16.50, that's like a median wage income, like weekly income, basically, in those days.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fucking money.
For like a middle way, yeah, for a median in the area, because you got to understand, like different areas in America, they're cheaper because they don't import a lot of stuff, and it's not like they're a lot of shit's made in that local area, and it's dirt cheap, and they don't pay like different areas. So the guy that comes back for his grandfather's funeral, he basically sees this stuff in the gasoline rationing, where he had to pay an officer at a gas station that was there for his gas rations, and the cop would put it in his own personal jacket. So this went back, and he spread the word amongst the soldiers that were from McMinn County, and they had stated a lot of them were very restless, and they were more concerned about McMinnville County than they were about Europe. They all wanted, when they heard what was going on, they were like, oh, that's like rot from within.
Right.
So this goes on for like the whole time. Cantrell switches out. He ends up going to the Senate.
Give us 1 second.
So this is like Athens, Tennessee, not Athens, Greece.
Not Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, Athens.
Did Greece see any action during World War II?
Yes.
I mean, I know we technically saw some action here. With like Pearl Harbor and a couple other minor shits that would technically be considered on U.S. soil. But that's whatever.
Such as?
A lot of Eastern Asia. Southeast Asia.
Such as? They weren't considered American at the time.
We like owned the shit out of Guam by then, dude.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
No. What?
I know we had the Philippines by World War II.
No, you talking about the French?
Yeah.
What was the one that like forced us to in fucking 1911? That we're like, this is ours now over there.
The Samoan Islands.
The only thing we domesticated like that closely is Puerto Rico. Like,
I could have sworn we had done some shit over there. There was like, this is ours now. Like we were doing some. I could have sworn we were doing that shit for a little bit.
Way back in the day, like maybe in the 1800s, back in the Rough Riders and stuff.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's technically like once we like took it, like once we did our empire bullshit, that's our land technically.
Like, I mean, we were down in Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba didn't do their own thing until after World War II.
No, this was way before, like with Teddy Roosevelt and his Rough Riders.
Yeah, but what was the one that like they were all on drugs or whatever, and it forced us to have to switch from the 30?
Vietnam.
Was that?
Vietnam was very. It's well known because like that era that is like tied with where it grew naturally, so to speak.
No, switched to the 19. It was before that. It was when we switched to the Colt single action. It was like what forced us to switch to the 45 caliber because like
The only one I know is like Vietnam. Vietnam bring like heavy LSD and shroom use for PTSD, and marijuana was cultivated over there like naturally, so they were smoking it over like that's that shit my pappy got from Nam. Like that's actually a way to describe good marijuana is to say that's that shit they smoked in Nam.
American units fighting Tausig guerrillas in the Moro Rebellion in Sulu during the Philippine-American War. It found that the standard Colt M1892 revolver, 38 long Colt, to be unsuitable, and they needed something a bit more oomphy. So they came up with the 45 Colt.
Yeah, so we had the Philippines
with the
by then.
M1873 single action. Oomphy.
So for all intents and purposes, if Japan invaded the Philippines, they invaded U.S. soil. Because that was a U.S. territory by then.
I don't think we ever made it a territory.
Your territory.
Man.
We
made I know Puerto Rico's a territory.
And so is Guam. And I think the Virgin Islands, is the UK Virgin Islands or the US Virgin Islands?
I don't know. I think it's UK.
So we have the UK Virgin Islands and the US Virgin Islands. There's Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands and American Samoa.
Okay.
Those are the 5 inhabited island territories. I'm so glad we're doing this right now during the Edward Crump.
We stumbled. Right. It's in our name.
Right.
It's history. I swear.
It's history inside history. It's history.
Get a history lesson in your history lesson there, Jenny.
I heard you like history lessons in your history lessons.
So I went ahead and put a history lesson.
Need to go to a meme generator and get that meme background and just put, I heard you like, what is it, exhibit? I heard you like history in your history.
He shaved his head because of that meme. No joke. Like when he found out that meme became a thing, he shaved his head so he looked less like the meme.
Yo, dog.
Jeez. Yeah. Like he did not like the meme at all at first. And then he like kind of ended up embracing it. And then I think
fucking MTV shafted him, dude. Like the whole production was a sham for not only the customer or winner, so to speak, but him. It was.
They fucked.
He was the golden. He was the golden goose. He was the face. You know, they had to have a hip rapper, which he was like in that time. He was.
You know, man, yeah, they came, and then like I think they like it also fucked them too because they ended up having like pay taxes out the ass for some of these cars and shit too, and like anything that like wasn't like bolted down to the car that wasn't supposed to be there, they would like take back like the TVs and shit. Yeah. So you'd have like empty spaces in your car and everything. Like yeah,
yeah.
To get back to this thing, so during a time when the GIs are coming back,
what is this in reference to?
The Battle of Athens.
Ah, yes, we had a nice little side.
We're back. We're back, baby. We're back.
Bringing it back around.
Bringing it around town.
Right. So as the GIs start getting home, it's like I think it's a 2-year grace period for another election, like the next upcoming election for officials and everything. So Cantrell at this time, he's in the Senate, and he's going back to sheriff of McMinn County.
Hmm? What are you doing?
He's signaling you.
I'm T-Rex.
Oh. Gotta get the little arms.
I'm T-Rex.
You're the T-Rex?
Hanging out with Jeff too much.
So I actually have a little bit inside family knowledge for this next part. Okay.
He was there.
So, no, I was not there, but my grandfather knew 2 of the Marines personally.
Was there.
My grandfather was in Pearl Harbor. He got honorably discharged from the Navy, and he immediately enlisted in the Army.
Okay, quick turnaround works.
He was in East Africa and France, and he hated the fact because he wanted to go to the Pacific Islands.
You do not want to go to the Pacific Island.
So my grandfather, when he got back, they got a radio television, like a broadcast, like in a television. So he was actually, my aunt told me the story about it, and it was when they were sitting down and they saw on the news where they were rebuilding stuff in like Hiroshima, like Nagasaki, all that stuff. They were going over. He would point at the screen and say, "Oh, I missed that Tojo." Like that's how, like, yeah, that's how mad and how much anger and how much
Jesus
malice.
Christ.
Yes, that's how much malice this guy, like, he didn't care. Like my aunt said that he thought like the internment camps were a good idea.
Oof, that's a spicy take.
Like it's so messed up.
That's a spicy take.
It
I
is.
don't think those were good.
Well, see,
Anybody thought they were good.
It's like because he suffered from a lot of PTSD. He weaseled his way in the military. He was suffering from severe PTSD from Pearl Harbor.
I mean,
he was in because of his height. Like my grandfather was 6'7" and like 230 pounds. He was he was an anti-tank gunman in East Africa and France.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He held those elephant gun type things, and there were anti-tank type.
Yeah, like the Gustav balls and shit.
Yeah.
All Gustavs, whatever they are.
He by himself was the anti-tank.
Yep, he just showed up with the Rockin' and Pythons and just took out that tank.
Yep.
You ever see that one episode of Fist of the North Star? That was your grandpa.
So
you ever see Popeye? That was your grandpa.
This 2 year time for the next election, the first thing the locals do in McMinn County is they form a new party, and it's called the GI Nonpartisan.
Sounds pretty based.
Right. So they're like nonpartisan. They're like, we're not going Democrat or Republican. We're just trying to get everything straightened out. Like, because my grandfather knew about some of the things, because these 2 years, they built up munitions. This was all premeditated. Like they were ready for it, even though they used every option for this to end with like diplomacy. But in the end, there was only one way.
We got them shooters.
Clickety clackety.
So
I thought with the choppers.
So on election day, there was so much violence, physical, like verbal. Like they had sent like the GI partisan, they had paid their taxes, they got poll watchers, they had their people, and all of a sudden, Crump had ordered Cantrell to send all the sheriffs, all the locals, like 200 deputies, to go out, and they seized every single voting box at each precinct for like the GI nonpartisan. So what's crazy is one man, the last name of Gillespie, who was a black farmer, when he went to go cast his vote, and he was very adamant, like, no, I'm not voting for Cantrell, like, they like pushed him away. They pushed him away.
Exactly, just like that.
They got the dogs on his ass.
Yeah.
Give him a second. Anyway.
Like I was saying. So he sends a bunch of like sheriffs, deputies, and all that to go to the poll boxes. They start retrieving like to the test of the GI nonpartisan people. And what happens is the black farmer Gillespie goes to a local voting spot. He tries to vote, even though they know he's going to vote for the GI nonpartisan, and I can't remember who was the
name on the ballot.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name.
It'll come to you. It'll get there. It'll get there.
Yeah.
But basically, he voiced out or got the notion that he was voting for him and not Cantrell, which was Crony.
Right.
They shot him in the back.
Jesus.
When he finally started to flee after they were like physically like trying to hurt him, he fled and one of the guys shot him directly in the back. After that, that's basically like when everybody was like, all right, boys, let's round it up. You know, so they
murdered a guy
and all that stuff. They go to a prison, a local prison, and they take shelter there, and they basically enclose themselves in this prison.
Now, this was the sheriff guys, right?
Yeah, Cantrell and all those little cronies that stole the voting boxes. And what the guys wanted was a fair count. They wanted everybody to be able to see each ballot one by one counted. You know, representatives for watching polls were allowed to see each ballot tallied. And they weren't wanting to do that. And it was like 2 days, man. They came there with spotlights. They had come from one of the National Guard armories. They had a lot of stuff at the National Guard.
Wait. So now, did the National Guard aid them, or did they just went and raid the National Guard?
No, like they had the keys, dude. They were military. They.
So they're like, hey, bros, give us your shit. The National Guard's like, yeah, okay, we're bros. Here you go.
No, they just went in. They basically like a quote from one of them is "Go unlock the National Guard," and that's. They just go. There's not like somebody signing a paper or whatever or doing something. They just went in there and like they had already premeditated this. They had this like ace in the hole. Basically, if they didn't want to listen to reason, they was gonna fuck around, find out. Okay, they weren't the most reasonable type of people. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, a bunch of crown-eating Marines who just got back from a war, kind of pissy about people doing a small fascism in their backyard. I'd be pissy too.
Yeah, and a big thing, and it's sad to say this, but a lot of people say it's because they mess with their alcohol.
Yeah, you don't fuck with soldiers and their alcohol.
Well, a lot of these guys, when they got home, and a lot of these people, they were like hog farmers, tobacco. They did a lot of hard work, and they would come into a honky tonk, and then all they would go out when is harassed and a $16.50 fine. So they got this place surrounded, spotlighted, and they tried their damnedest to talk this guy like, just bring it out unarmed, bring somebody out, bring all the boxes out, sit them down, we'll count them. Like, come on. Like, all you got to do is just bring out the box. So they don't do it. So they pull out the big guns. And by big guns, I mean TNT, dynamite. So they're basically like Red Dead Redemptioning, like chunking dynamite. Like stuff, like taking hunks of dynamite. They blew up a car. They turned one over on its side. And eventually they like busted open the wall.
Just casual stuff.
Casually breaking up.
I mean, realistically, like this is just another Tuesday to them.
At that point, by now, yeah.
Like
that's another thing. They mind this. They're fresh from the war, where they're fighting this type of shit. Like
it's just another fucking Tuesday to them.
It's like, hey, this reminds me of the good old days.
Oh, you thought what I did over there was fucked up. Watch what I'm about to do to your ass.
We're not Canadians, but we learned from them. If you get that joke.
Thank you, Canada, for inventing
the Geneva Suggestions.
Being a good reason of it. Australia was also fucked.
Yeah. I like to think of them more as the Geneva Suggestions. I don't know where that quote's originally from, but I love it.
So, one thing about this is there were multiple statements made to the Justice Department and even FDR himself, complaints that were made about what was going on in McMinn County. And the DOJ didn't come, nothing, nobody did anything. Cantrell actually ordered 200 National Guard troops that were on their way, and that's actually why I guess the GIs had kind of expedited
Taking the shit from the armory.
Negotiations.
We can put that in quotes. Negotiations.
Hey, the National Guard's coming. We want to take all their shit before they get here, so they got nothing to use.
Well, this is like a National Guard from a different state. I think it was like West Virginia, if I'm correct.
Oh, so they're taking them country roads down. We'll take them a hot second. All right.
Yeah, they're like, he's phoning like governor, like he's trying to pull favors, basically. So they know like they're limited on time. That's when they pull out the dynamite. You know, they just start blasting.
You just gotta blow the whole wall down of a prison. You gotta get shit done.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
They had like legit like Tommy guns, rifles, shotguns, like every type of gun you could think about.
They raided a whole armory. And
Yeah,
then probably brought back some of their own shit from War II.
that is true.
I would have been surprised if you saw a couple fucking samurai swords too.
Maybe.
I mean,
the
think about it.
Japanese rifles were very common, and German pistols.
Yeah. The Arisakas and the Mauser.
Yep. Americans like the rifle from the Japs and the pistol from the Germans.
It is what it is.
They were good trophies, and if they also happened to be usable trophies, they were good usable trophies. You know, if it works, it works.
Yeah, it is what it is.
There's a reason both of those people are known for their efficiency.
Yeah.
Casual racism.
Nah, it's just history. As long as you're not engaging in it and saying it was correct, it's not racist. But if you're just quoting something from the, it's racist, but like you're not being racist. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, is it racist if it's technically the truth?
Yes.
Well, it depends on the context.
I mean, if I'm saying
context is very heavy.
I mean, if I'm saying that Japanese and Germans make very efficient tools and machinery, and that's
no. This is a good stereotype.
That wouldn't, that'd be stereotype.
No. This is a good stereotype.
This is good racism. We're doing good
Like,
racism.
this is good. Like, who was it, Bill Burr, that went on that rant about like Asians are good at math and how that's like a stereotype? Like, what the fuck? He's like,
I mean,
like, what? It's all mad.
It does.
He's like, I wish my race was talked about for being mathematical geniuses. Like,
I think his was just drinking. Right? He's Irish?
Pretty sure he's Irish.
He still didn't Bill Burr pass away or
No. What?
No.
Jeez. Wait, who am I thinking of the comedian who passed away?
George Carlin.
I mean, George Carlin.
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
The one just recent, whatever.
Just recently? Patrice O'Neill.
Whatever. Anyway.
That's more recent than George Carlin, I think.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of Norm MacDonald.
I don't know about that.
I don't know why I was mixing him up with Norm. I think that's what I was mixing him up with.
I don't know if Patrice was more recent than George.
Carlin?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah,
Side quest.
I think Patrice O'Neill was 2004. And then George Carlin was, I want to say 2000.
Oh, Patrice was 2011.
Yeah, okay, so Carlin passed first. Yeah, okay.
Carlin,
Yeah, Carlin passed, like, I was
wait.
Yeah, okay. I was a junior in high school. Right? Junior's the one before senior? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
To just wrap up the story in a nice little bow here.
So
basically,
the walls.
yeah, basically, in the end, the good guys win. You know, it's
So-
compared a lot for the Second Amendment. Like this was one of like a legitimate situations where the government was coming for you and your family in a type of sense, and you had to fight back against it physically.
Yeah,
I mean,
and those are.
But here's the bizarro world, guys. Here's the bizarro world switch to it. So the rest of the nation, the rest of the United States, when they were seeing this reports about Athens, Tennessee, they were scared out of their minds because there was actually reports amongst civilians that they were scared about shell-shocked Marines and Army people coming back and taking power and doing stuff like they were scared about like uprising from military stuff from the war when they come back. So they're not there, so they're just seeing that on a news narrative. They're shitting themselves. Like it's happening. So this actually, it was a good thing, but it scared a lot of people.
Yeah, I could believe that.
yeah. I mean, this was also right around the same time that people got freaky about an
The
alien.
Red Scare.
I was going to say a fake alien invasion that one time. You know, the Orson Welles.
The whole story of Crump and everything, it's a constant contradiction. He's like one of the scummiest persons on the earth, but he keeps everything clean and in order. But he just hires these scumbags to just.
Yeah, I mean it's like Stalin.
Yeah, there you go.
Stalin did a lot of fucked up things to the Russian people. He did a lot of good things for Russia as a country.
I mean,
It's fucked,
you know,
but like it's
the trains ran
Double-edged. It's literally the classic double-edged sword.
Yeah, trains were running on time in Berlin.
Do we have anything
Get that history joke
to say more about this guy before we start rambling off about like useless fucking factoids about him
or whatever else you feel like nibbling about?
I gotta say, this guy.
So wait. So like, what actually happened to him in the end? Like after the Marines,
died.
like.
No, he like the only person that got charged.
1954. He died. Like he just died of old age.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
but like, did he go to jail or some shit, or did he just kind of?
no, there was one
kinda sneak
person
out?
that was jailed in the incident.
So he just kind of
And
off to the
That was
background.
the guy that had shot the black farmer. He was tried and but Edward Crump actually tried to assassinate the elect sheriff that was elected from the GI partisan.
Oh no! Okay, never mind.
They had to relocate him to Sweetwater for a period of time because Edward Crump had a hit out on him.
Huh.
Yeah. So
the newly elected sheriff.
That's technically a felony.
To also fill you in, Memphis was run by commission for pretty much up until 1967. So 13 years after he died, it was still following the run by the run by commission type bullshit that he had set up when he took office. So
like every time a cop got you with a citation, they would get a part of your ticket bill, basically.
Yep.
So even when
These
he
guys were getting paid like
After he died,
$100, dude. In that day, like $100.
That's
Like they were lining the pockets.
Yeah. He kind of just like got away with everything and died of old age.
Yeah, that's why I compare him to like Dick Cheney.
Okay, is Dick Cheney still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's still alive. He's
said that earlier.
I forgot. That was like an hour ago.
Symptoms.
Keep you smoking.
Hey, I've been smoking this whole time. I got Oreo mints.
But we can't see you smoke. We can see him smoke.
No, see, that's a big reason why I don't want to be on camera.
We don't care. I don't care.
Well,
Well,
see, Hi,
My-
thanks. It's legal here.
My man cave also has a section that under the 2018 Farm Bill is compliant hemp marijuana. I'm going to say that right now. It's 2018 Farm Bill compliant. There's no air parentheses while I'm saying that. It's 2018 compliant, and I don't want that in my background. I haven't put up walls.
You're
I never
good.
put up
You're
walls.
good. You're good. You don't have to explain nothing. I ain't a kappa.
We think the gay couple should defend their pot plants with AR-15s here.
Fuck it. Give him a bazooka. I don't care.
Yes, give them the bazookas. You know what? I think even better. Swords. Everybody should have swords.
So I want to say that Memphis still has a very well-respected fire and police department.
Yes, they even have memorials of Crump still. They have they have
He wasn't that bad.
The Memphis Light, Gas, and Water Company, which he set up, is still one of the largest combined municipalities in the United States. Up until like 2013, because of him, Tennessee still required 2 auto inspections a year, I believe. Like
That
for
seems
safety
a little
inspections.
silly.
Yeah.
I mean, one is enough.
There's
$40 is enough.
There's the Crump Stadium, the Memphis Blues.
Yep.
The song "The Memphis Blues" by W.C. Handy mentions Mr. Crump. Motel in Memphis mentions Mr. Crump. He appointed Lloyd Binford as some bullshit, which did a bunch of censorships. Yeah, like this guy was weird. There's still statues.
Yes.
So he was a dickhead, but he was
a dickhead who made life tolerable, which is kind of ironic.
Isn't it ironic?
I mean, the first animal cruelty laws were in Berlin.
So, with utility distribution, like you said, firefighters, emergency services, he got it down locked. Like he
set it up. He got that shit modernized.
It's because
infrastructure.
Even though the way he got in power in Memphis was less than desirable, no one can say he did a bad job, technically. And it's sad. It's a sad thing to say that about somebody who has done some of these messed up things.
Yeah. Except for the people who were,
sometimes corruption looks good.
In election against him. They could say that he did bad. Oh, wait. Nobody was allowed to run against him.
But yeah, basically. It's like Kim Jong status,
It's
almost like a minor fascism.
Do you want a fascism? Because this is how you do a fascism.
And that's what was the story is just filled with irony.
Honestly, it's so weird that the best form of fascism is also in America. Turns out other countries can't do fascism correct. We got to show them how to do it correct.
Well, it's
it's like that meme of the guy slapping the back of the kid's head. That's how you do a fascism.
Oh, I was talking about the memes with the current modern day talking points of specific rights and specific people, and how even quote. I'm gonna quote this. This is. Hi, here at Stumbling Down History Road, we have no political affiliations. We lean neither which way nor the other. We don't care what you do. Just do it in the privacy of your own fucking home.
Don't be a cunt.
Exactly. Do it in the privacy of your own fucking home.
Right.
But I'm referring to the lovely political discourse of even men are better than women at getting the women of the year award. Shit like that.
Oh my goodness, that whole thing, that meme of even men can become women.
God damn it!
Like, oh my goodness,
That's
I
what
remember that thing where it was like
Yeah.
even men do women better than women. Like they're making fun of like how anything you can do, I can do better. Like
Hi, you're stumbling down history road.
that is a shitty thing to do to like women. Is just like, you know, we're not going to say anything about like the circumstances. We're just going to say this and deal with it.
I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, like I said, just
In a
was
second,
do whatever the fuck you want in the privacy of your own goddamn home. I don't give a shit.
Libertarian status. Just fucking.
Leave me
Like,
the
as
fuck
long as
alone.
you're not hurting nobody, if you're not hurting yourself or nobody, I may disapprove.
I don't give a
disagree
fuck
with
if you hurt yourself. Just don't hurt anybody else.
Right. Well, I don't disapprove in self-harm stuff or approve, but like I can disagree with somebody all day, but that doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and talk bad about their mother or like, you know, give them a hard time just because they have a thought and opinion that they're developing in their own brain. Like that's no good. That's how we, you know, that's how we are where we are. People disagreed with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, I just don't want to be kowtowed because somebody thinks they'll make their sky daddy happy. That's my biggest thing.
That is, man.
Don't cowtail me because I think it'll make your sky daddy happy. There you go.
Exactly. Those who come first,
At the end of the day, I'm
certainly
punching that
be
fucker in the
last.
face.
Those guys, like they don't. Those damn high. We call them Bible thumpers, holy rollers.
Are you allowed to say that? You're pretty in the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, hey, I'll tell you,
what's
this.
the
My
fucking
mama, back
funniest
in the
thing about
day,
that belt too is the irony that I have never seen more fucking sex shops and fucking
yeah, dude. I can travel 8 miles from my house right now and go to an adult
swingers,
shop.
and then in the fucking Bible Belt. Like I've seen more fucking sex shop
Dude,
in the fucking
yes.
Bible Belt than I right here in liberal
usually at
ass Long
interstates.
Island.
Clearly, you don't go to the city enough.
That's different. That's the city.
The city is totally its
The
own
city's
thing.
just
The
a
thing
whole
is-
fucking thing. But I'm talking like, you know, in North Carolina, there are fucking billboards for like Adam and Eve and fucking shit like that. Like,
Right.
you know, like the fucking
The thing
irony
is down here, D. There are freaks down here.
Oh,
there are
fucking
people who, but the thing is, this is the thing, is usually a married couple that explored and did different things and more exciting. They kept it in their bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, mum's the word.
Or, to
Or
be
the
fair, somebody
pineapples.
else's.
The pineapples.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true too. They didn't talk about it. They didn't like put
They just
themselves
left
on the
out 30
pedestal.
pineapples.
Like, that's the only thing I disagree with. Don't go around telling everybody about your promiscuous escapade. Tell that to your friend group, your close knit, your book club.
I'm here for it.
I should say, don't get me wrong. I mean, hell, Virginia's only good for one thing to me, and that's fucking Livewire Mountain Dew.
I thought Virginia is for lovers.
Nope. That's a fucking slog to get through, and the only thing that makes it worth it is when I stop at like a Love's or a gas station and there's fucking Mountain Dew Livewire, nice and cold in the case, and I could go, you know what? This state's only slightly okay.
Yeah, we keep things like that stocked in our local gas stations.
You got Mountain Dew Livewire?
I mean, like, okay, so this it used to be called Sun. What was it? It's called Starry now. They sell this weird
right.
that. Yeah, no. It was another lemon. It's like Pepsi's version of.
It was Sierra Mist.
Oh, Sierra Mist.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Now,
there you
sorry,
go.
now, yeah.
So like they sell that, but it's like I can't remember what it's a different flavor version, but they sell things like that a lot, like Livewire. They like these like toxic drink because you want to know why? You want to know why we have a lot of caffeinated beverages and stuff like that?
Because you got to be up at 3 a.m.
No. I'm gonna give Jackson a guess. Why would we have a lot of sugary caffeinated beverages in our area?
Well, I'm gonna go based off of the fact that I was in the military and caffeine is a crippling addiction. There, Bob.
All right, it's one word. It's called meth. You think I'm lying?
No, I believe you.
If they come in, they buy these sun drops. They like these things called sun drops, and they cut. Like a meth head when they come into your local Dollar General and they buy a certain type of drink.
Interesting.
It's wild, dude. Like
y'all got Revits?
Yep.
Revs? Oh man, that was a military drink.
I can't even tell you. Like when Four Loko, before they got like banned with the caffeine and stuff, they were heavy down here.
Welcome to the world of Four Loko.
See,
it was heavy everywhere.
I'm like, okay. See, I developed like a weird snack addiction from my time because I was a correctional officer. So like,
Hell
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of
My brother just retired from correctional officer, so big ups to you.
I had to leave because of mental health problems. I only was there for about 2.5 years, almost 3 years, but that's whatever.
Hey, that's more time than a lot of people fucking last, dude.
I would have stayed longer, but
It's neither here nor there.
again, mental health. Anyway,
I was just saying, you'd last like that's longer than an act. You know what I'm saying?
right. But anyway, so yeah, no, like the whole shebang chips, which are only sold in like prisons and like sketchy bodegas in fucking Queens.
Yeah.
Because every now and again, when I'm in Queens, I'll go into like a sketchy bodega, and somehow inexplicably they'll have like either like shebangs or like some Ego or some shit or some weird soda you don't see anywhere else. You're like,
The Zapp's voodoo chips.
yo, those are good too.
I don't like them.
I don't like kettle chips because they make them in kettle, but like they kind of have almost the same flavor, so it kind of works.
Like y'all in bodegas, y'all get like the sandwiches or whatever, like all that stuff. Like I spent some time in New Jersey, Newark, Hamburg, somewhere around there. I went to New York 2000 and I want to say 17 for the Christmas tree lighting.
Well, I'm going to say sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never went back to New York City again after that experience.
To be fair, you did what you needed to. That's it.
I got to ride in a limousine though.
That's cool.
See, there you go. You did what you needed
Pretty
to.
cool. But getting stuck in a gridlock for an hour, like
Fuck that.
You did exactly what you needed to. You saw the tree and you hit the traffic. The only two experiences that you needed to.
Maybe
I
ate some
conned. Hey, so you know those like I don't want to say nationalities or anything, but like you know those guys that sit by on the corners and they sell the I Love NY t-shirts or whatever.
Well, that's a whole bunch of nationalities.
I mean, you.
What?
That's a.
I don't want to say. I didn't say it because I didn't want to say the nationality of the guy I interacted with. I wasn't saying as a whole. Like,
Dude, every street peddler comes in every fucking.
He was like Arab. Like the dude was obviously like of Arab descent.
Yeah, no, that's cool. They're cool with it.
Yeah, it's fine. I just didn't want to like say like point him out for anything. But this guy, he was
nice rainbow.
As I was leaving and I was going to board the train back to Patterson. I think it was Patterson or somewhere around there, Patterson, New Jersey.
Somewhere. Doesn't matter.
It's Jersey.
Yeah, not real estate.
So it was like $14 for the shirt. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get my sister a souvenir. You know, like I was one. So like I pulled a classic scam on this guy. And I conned him by being a dumb hillbilly and saying, well, I don't got that much money. And I pulled out my wallet and I had my money tucked and I had $4 bills tucked away in my wallet. And I was like, that's all I got, man. And he gave me a shirt for $4 when he was trying to sell them for $14.
I mean,
to be fair, that's probably still a 400% profit for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but still, he didn't get my 14.
But to be fair, though, also a $14 shirt in New York is also a really good price too.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Well, this is back in 2017.
They started at $22 back then, dude.
Oh yeah.
No shit.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Shit's not cheap.
I lit up a cigarette in Central Park, and I didn't know that there was a no smoking ordinance.
Yeah.
Dude, he was like, the guy come up on the horse, and he was like, put that out, you know, like, and I'm like, I took one last drag off my smoke, and I was like, whoa, and like, I just flipped to like fucking the color purple type shit, like, I don't know nothing. I just up here down, you know, and the guy felt bad for me.
Oh God.
I just like hammed it up. I just hammed it up and played like I was here on some, you know, tourism. I'm down south. Like, I don't know. I smoked cigarette. Like, I just hammed a performance. And the guy explained to me
I thought he was going to say master there for a second.
No, dude, come on, man. Oh, that's too far. Holy shit.
Oopsies.
But no, like, I prominted my accent a bit more and was being, but
I always say when it comes to the cops, it's your dignity or it's getting arrested or a fine, and I choose the fucking lose my dignity.
Man, dude was talking like dude was talking like a $280 fine or some shit.
Yep, that
I was like,
ironically, you probably would have avoided it now if you're smoking pot. Like, they do
I know, right?
If you were smoking pot in the city now, they do not give a single
iota. Like,
fuck, it's awesome now.
I'll never forget this. D. And this is, you'll find this very funny. I know you will, because you don't like the guy. Mm-hmm. He gives me like this spiel and this like lecture about how this is Donald Trump's property.
What?
Yes. This dude starts telling me about like this area of Central Park is owned and operated by Trump. You know, he doesn't like he gives me a whole lecture about smoking in itself. He mentions Trump multiple times.
I just like how he called you out. I know you'll get a kick out of this because I know you don't like him.
Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any. Like, what?
I don't know what the fuck he said. Something like I don't know if he owned any licenses or rights to parts of Central Park back. It was like 2000. Okay, I want to say 2012. I'm not going to go that far because I graduated in 2011. And I left like right after high school. I went to New Jersey and so it was 2012, 2013, the beginning of Obama's second term. I was in New Jersey.
2012.
Yeah, for about a year and a half.
2012 is when it was his second term because he got elected 2008 and 2012.
And like, if you guys want the hot take, I'll tell you this right now, as an honest person who lives in the southern areas, sometimes people don't use racism for malice, but it's definitely a form of comedy down here.
Oh, you see,
as opposed to anywhere else, like.
Well, no. What I'm saying is like, even though like you got like Billy Bob, Senator, fucking what we have a lot of food names. Like, there's a lot of food names that are very, 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 very overtoned in racial things. I can't even say it.
Now I want you to.
Okay, so there's N-word toes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a Brazilian nut.
Yeah, a Brazilian.
All right, and then there's also another version of that N-word toast, which is like Buckeyes, the pastry dish, but they're shaped. Hold on, what's the damn? There's one. I can't remember what it was called. It was something about Asian. It was like disrespectful to Asians. I can't remember what it was called.
Oriental?
No, dude. It was like, I can't remember what it was called.
That's been disrespectful, actually.
Oh, no, I can't say it. All right.
You can say
guys,
it. You have
okay.
freedom of speech.
Everybody
Protected by the
listening,
internet.
I'm telling you what this is called. I do not call this. I do not say these things, but it's called gook gulak. And it's a mix of rice, meat, and vegetables that's down, and it's made into a thick, pasty, like hearty kind of thing. And it's supposed to be, and they call it gook gulak.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You say that.
Sounds like a rice casserole or some shit.
You're like fucking like hyping me up over here. I have a lot of insight. I have a lot of insider knowledge of this shit. Especially my dad. Oh my gosh, my dad. He was the most racist man I know, man. Like my real biological father. That dude was a stone cold racist, but he wasn't an advocate. Like he wouldn't go out in the public and do it. But if I was in the house, if you were in the house in the private area, it was all something about the color of somebody's skin. Like, yeah.
Yeah, say the things. Like,
well, one time when I was in second grade, Jackson, when I was in second grade and we had a field day and we did a 50-yard dash, I came in second place, and the only black kid in my school beat me. His name was Sean Fennessy. When I got home, my dad immediately started beating me. He beat me, and I started running, and he was chasing me, and he was beating me, and he was, next time you're running with that N-word, you better remember me behind you.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was a very racist. He was upset because not that I'd come in second place, but I had come in second place to a person of color. If Sean Fennessy had been white, I would have. He would have been proud that I came in second.
Arrogance to him. That's like the one thing they're known for. Like, why would he?
That's their stereotype.
Like, why do you be like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. That's like the one thing.
Yeah, that's like losing to.
I'll never forget my grandmother.
That's like losing to a Mexican to a jumping the wall contest.
Like losing to a fucking Asian in a chess match.
Like losing to a Cuban in swimming.
My grandmother one day, my father's already dead. My dad died of like stroke complications and shit like that. He got into a vegetative state. They pulled the plug on him, all that type of stuff, whatever.
Condolences.
Oh no, it's fine, dude. Like he was a piece of work. Like he was a piece of work. He died the way he was intended to die, you know. Like he verbally abused. He didn't physically abuse my mother. He verbally abused her. He had a stroke that took his ability to speak, and because he didn't want to stop drinking and take his medicine, he had this weird like second stroke that caused him to go into a vegetative state. He was in the nursing home. They didn't clean out his feeding tube stuff, so he aspirated the nutrient paste in his lungs, and he died of pneumonia. He died from miscare, basically.
Jesus Christ.
And he was not able to say a word. And like I wish that kind of hadn't happened to him. I wish he would have changed his ways. I wish he would have been a little bit better, but you know,
shit.
He went the way he lived. He went the way he lived. He was I have to say, my father was a terrible, terrible man, but he had his good moments in certain things.
Yeah.
All
right, we successfully sidetracked ourselves quite a bit.
There's a guy in the comments. Want to buy an N-word pass?
Do we have anything to wrap us up with?
I've been meaning to buy one of those cards. Like, you get the physical cards that say that. I put it right behind my man card in my wallet.
That would be silly.
Do we have anything?
I don't think anybody should say the N-word.
Fair enough. I just wanted to have the card right behind my man card in my wallet because I have a little.
I don't think it's right. Like I don't get it. Like I don't get my panties up in a wad. But like when an African American calls me a honky or a cracker, I just kind of throw my hands up and be like, dude, like you trust me not to call you certain names. And here you are calling me, so you don't know me from Adam, and then you just call it like that's the thing. Like I'm obligated not to do to you, and now you do it.
I just call everybody a bitch.
Well, it's very rare that I hear someone of African American descent call anyone a cracker or a honky. It's honestly pretty rare for me. But when it happens, I throw my hands up and I'm like, dude, what? Come on, man.
That's a new one.
What is it, Switzerland? Switzerland status. I ain't gonna.
Fair enough.
Let's be neutral ground here. If you know, like I know, like I have no like I know cracker and honky is like a funny thing that you just came up with, and it wasn't like a word used to like demoralize and deteriorate your whole culture for 200 years, but
A little bit longer.
An eye for an eye and the whole world goes blind. An eye for an eye and the whole world goes blind.
See, I'm just like, if we're making fun of each other, it's all in good fun. So when you start being cunt about it, that's when it's an issue.
Yeah, if you do stuff in malice, that's when you.
Yeah, no, if
you got to be around somebody that trusts you. You know what I mean?
Like I've sat there and made all sorts of racist jokes with all sorts of people of all different colors and shit. Like, we don't give a fuck. It's when we start being a cunt about it, it's like, you know, I've seen the Aryan Brotherhood guy sit there and make racist jokes.
It's funny.
And black guy.
I'll tell you this. You'll like this, D. This will be a wrap up, whatever y'all get. But I'll tell you this, D. So I have like a little construction company, like a little LLC. You know what I mean? Like handyman, whatever. So I'm out with one of my workers, and he has a friend who their alternator on their truck is out and they're parked in a Walmart. So I go to an AutoZone, I buy the alternator, I go back, I go to the truck, I take out the alternator, I put the new one in, I send them on their way, I go to AutoZone, I get the refurb charge back, and about that time I get a text, they invited me for dinner. Mm-hmm. So I go back, and she's making like a typical like American like spaghetti, not Italian spaghetti, like hamburger meat with a little bit of onions with boiled noodles with tomato sauce. And then they have like tortillas and carne, like different kinds of like more Mexican, Hispanic style food. It's a white lady. It's a white lady. So after fixing the truck, and this is all free of charge, by the way. Like I did this out of the kindness of my heart, and I just took the rebate from the alternator. Like the $40-$60 I got back from the alternator when I took it to AutoZone. So I get there and I'm sitting there and we're eating. And my buddy, he's a jokester. We've done many jokes together. And he turns and he looks at the wife and said, him a like a Trump. Dude, this lady did everything but like fucking cut me, man. She started like yelling at me, and mind you, I just fixed her truck for free and bought the part and only took the you know what I mean? Like I'm speaking Spanish. I'm employing a guy of Hispanic descent, and this lady just starts going off on me, dude. Gets mad. I eventually I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, I'll leave. I drive. I go next day. We stop by a flea market, me and my buddy, and this guy is selling shirts, and one of the shirts has Donald Trump on it in golden thing and says Poles are only good for strippers. All right. So I look at it and I'm like, I got to get that. So I go to get out the truck and get it. And I stop and I'm like, oh, dude, this is a golden opportunity. This is fucking golden. I stop, I get back in the truck and I look at him and I hand him the $40 and I say, hey, go over there and buy that shirt. Compa la ropa. Así con Trump. He goes over there. He goes, what? I was like, no, just buy it. So he goes over there and he has this conversation with the guy. He's like, he's hesitant to sell the shirt to him. He's like, I'm just making sure you're not going to burn this thing or something.
Yeah.
So my buddy, without missing a beat, he goes, no, I'm buying it for my son. He likes them. So this is the head of the story. So I put the shirt on, I get it on, we're hanging out. And it's a tradition on the end on Fridays, I take him to a local Chinese restaurant, affluent Chinese restaurant. He likes it. It's called Ming Court. So we seesaw on who pays. It's a buffet for like $12.
Sure.
Right.
Seesaw. It was his turn to pay. So I come in that restaurant filled with people with a Trump shirt on that was black and all gold and sparkling that said poles are only good for strippers. And I got he's obviously Hispanic. He's Mexican as they come, dude. He's a bean beef burrito walking. Like, dude, you can't. So they're like, the Asian ladies that come up, they're kind of like, they act kind of weird around us a little bit. Like they're a little hesitant. So we eat, we're getting to the end of it. They bring back the bill, like the little check thing, and they put it in front of me, right? And I looked up at her and I said, oh, no, without missing a beat. I said, oh, no. Mexico's going to pay. And I slid the thing over to him because it was his turn. It was actually his turn to pay for the buffet. So I added that spicy joke in there that, oh, no. And then she looked at him. And by that time, he had his wallet out, and he pulled out a couple of 20s, and he was like handing it to her. And this lady was in they put us in the old smoking section. Oh, yeah, there was nobody in this room. They put us in this isolated area.
You still got smoking sections there? Holy shit.
No, it was like before.
Y'all really going back in time down there.
When we had smoking sections, they just removed the smoking section, the little area for people to eat that smoked.
Yeah.
And they made it where like the employees grab a bite. But no, they seated us over there out of the view. And I told him, my whose name, this is even funnier. His name is Israel.
What? That's a name?
His oldest daughter, her name is America.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah.
Jesus.
I've had a lot of funny moments with my Hispanic buddies.
Anyway. Should we get our usual out of here spieler going or what?
Yeah, I think so after that story.
Hell yeah.
For those on the live stream, you gotta watch the episode when it comes out to hear the story.
Yeah, dude. They gotta watch it.
Well, thanks for joining us.
I think we've already hit 250 more.
We did hit 250. Join us next week for the overall live stream. We're gonna have like a little super spin nonsense.
I'll be calling in for that.
Yeah, we're gonna have like a little spin down or some nonsense fucking bullshittery. We're gonna do the shirt giveaway then. It's Christmas and whatnot. Woo!
We got 500.
At 500, we got Through the Looking Ass at 750. We got Sprite Boy at 1,000. We got Forced Marriage at 1,001. We got a Lego Humvee.
Tell me about the forced marriage. Like, did y'all?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll find out when we get there. If we get there, the paperwork expires.
I'm an ordained minister.
It's a time crunch. So we'll get there when we get there. If we get there, it's on a time crunch. 2,500. We're gonna get Superfan Charles to tattoo Assassin's Creed logo on his nipple. $1 million is Joe Rogan. We're stealing your shit.
10,000. We're making a neck knife Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that too.
10,000 subscribers.
I was thinking donating a nice samurai sword instead of y'all trying to pilfer it.
Nice.
Well,
maybe down the road, stumbling down the road, y'all get it.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to go steal.
I will donate an Edo period samurai sword to stop you from trying to go to Joe Rogan's.
Wait. Hold on. At how many subscribers are you going to donate that to stop us?
Okay, what do y'all have down? When are y'all going to go try to nab his sword?
1 million.
How much?
1 million subscribers.
1 million. I tell you what. If if you get to 1,000 subscribers,
We already have something for that.
you don't have
1005.
1005.
1,005.
Yeah, 1005. Go ahead.
Give me 2,500. Give me a good quart.
We're
2,500. Hold me to it. Hold me to it. It's right here. It's live.
how about 25?
Not live for.
Let him be.
I'll get to 2,500 subscribers. I'll donate an Edo period samurai sword for your stream.
Live stream, you couldn't hear it, but on our Mr. at George Story said that, and I quote, at 2,500 subscribers, we're getting a donated Edo period sword from him.
I mean,
Let's get us there.
I do personally have my own.
And we'll get Superfan Charles his own fucking nipple tattoo.
Hey.
2 goals for the price of 1.
I mean, I already have an antique katana. The only reason it's never appeared on show is because it's in Shirasaya.
It's okay. It's okay.
How about this?
Going to have it sent out to be put into a full battle mount that
It's okay. Let us get this.
Semi-custom making for myself, and
Let us
having
get
somebody
this.
else also custom work. But I have the parts. I'm making the parts custom-ish, and then he's going to put it all together for me because I don't trust myself putting it together.
It's fine. It's fine. Let us get this.
Tell them I said like and subscribe.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, live feed people. Like, share, comment, subscribe, non-live share people. Good night, peoples.
Yeah.
All right, good night.
Good night,
You
peoples.
guys are a hoot and a half.
Thanks.
Thank
you.
you.